Hello, this video is part one of a two-part Master Data Governance and Active Data Governance series. Decisions for SAP Solution integrates with SAP versions R3 to S4 HANA. Out of the box, we utilize SAP's version 3.0 .NET Connector to interface with SAP, and as such, all SAP authorization protocols are adhered to. Now, Decisions for SAP Solutions is a platform for business process automation, focusing on process automation, obviously, as well as data handling and business rule execution. And it's designed for both the business and IT users to utilize without a single line of code. If you've not already done so, I highly encourage you to watch our Decisions for SAP Solutions overview video. This video provides an overview of the design process as well as other integrations and a lot of out-of-the-box functionality that you would find very valuable regarding the product in general. In this demo, we will demonstrate a new material request. And you will see data collection enforced with business rules for the new material request, and then we'll route it to multiple departments in parallel so that each department can complete their respective data inputs. And finally, the creation of the new material in SAP. In the interest of time, I'll only demonstrate a few views of the material master record, but it will be sufficient for you to get a good understanding of our SAP integration and what a real-world process might look like. Now keep in mind this workflow is outside of SAP, and it only interacts with SAP when desired. So that frees us up from being tied to the SAP change transport system when making design and deployment and post-enhancement development. So it supports rapid development as well as the agile development methodology. This demo utilizes an external material number, but we also support internal numbering as well. And when I select drop-down menus, you'll see type ahead functionality, and we'll talk about all of that as we go through the demo. So without further delay, let's jump into a demo. And what you see here is a typical landing page or an example of a landing page. And on this page, we have some KPI tiles that are showing the number of materials requested, how many are pending, and how many have been rejected. And this is a report down below these KPI tiles, and all of the data being rendered here in these KPI tiles are actually coming from this report down below. Now over here on the right are my active assignments. And as you can see, I do not have any active assignments, but you'll see those appear as we go through the process. Now I have a little button here for requesting a new material. When I click that button, a form renders. Now, this form could be on a Fiori tile, or it could be on the website, or it could be here in the portal, just as I'm demonstrating here. So let's enter a material number. And we'll use the same for the description. I've hard-coded a plant and a sales organization. But when this form loaded, we went live to SAP and we read the data for these drop-downs. And out of the box, I get things like type ahead functionality, right? Now this is the standard unit of measure list from out of SAP. I could filter this down further with a little query on top of this if I so desired. One thing I want to point out is this is a little workflow of its own. All these drop-downs are just workflows of their own nature. And I can literally reuse this workflow in another workflow without making any modifications. So if I wanted to build a sales order entry or a purchase order entry form in Decisions for SAP Solutions, and I wanted to utilize this drop-down, I do not have to build it again. I can simply just go call that little workflow that has already been created. So I showed you type ahead functionality. We can also click and select, or we can type in and tab off. Now we can also support things like product hierarchy. So this is just a little sub-dialog process that will render cascading values for us based on the previous selections. And then based on our selections, build out that SAP product hierarchy string, to send to SAP. Now, we can have tabs in forms as well. We don't have to have tabs, but we can. In this scenario, we have tabs. And if I try to submit this form right now, I am going to get some errors. And the errors are spelled out for me down here. These are pretty much default errors. We could make them a more human readable, right? But at the end of the day, this is we've hard-coded the FERT material type for demo purposes. But this is a finished goods material type, and it must have a gross weight of greater than 0 and a net weight of greater than 0. And it must have a weight unit of either kg or lb. Now, once I have entered this data, then I can move forward in my process. Our Part 2 series will talk about these business rules and talk about active data governance and how we continue to keep our data accurate once it's in SAP and maybe people are interacting with that data, and how we make it adhere to our business rules. Or if a business rule changes, I can easily go identify that data that's in SAP that falls outside of my business rules. Now, when I submit this form, what's going to happen is we're going to send a couple of tasks to departments in parallel. And I happen to be in those departments, so I'm going to see these tasks. So one task went to the MRP group. So there may be a dozen people in that MRP group for a given plan. Or for a center of excellence or a master data group. And so if I'm in that group, I'm going to receive that task. But once somebody from that group claims that task, then that task goes away for everybody else. Now, if I cancel out of this, then that task would be rendered back to everyone else. But I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to select my data and I'm going to move forward in my planning. Now, again, we have tabs here. I have minimal data that's required for this form. But let me point out, these forms that you're seeing in this demo are part of our Material Master template. So you don't have to go rebuild these. If you want to use this out of the box as it is, you can. Or if you want to customize it, maybe remove some fields that you don't use, or maybe add custom fields, then we can do that as well pretty quickly and pretty easily. So now when I complete my MRP data and I submit, then obviously that task is going to go away. And if I select my, let's refresh this screen here real quick, and you can see as things update. So if I go to my review task for sales area, all that's required here is a distribution chain. So that's all I'm going to enter on this task just for the sake of time. But again, I could have business rules, I could have multiple values required, whatever the case may be. Now, when I submitted that form, I get a pop-up window. In our demo, we pop up a window for our SAP credentials. In the real world, when the last task is completed, it might go to a Center of Excellence or a Master Data Governance group. And when they select on their task, they might get this window, or maybe they review some data. You can slice and dice a solution however you want. So I'm going to enter my SAP credentials. And when I click submit, we're literally going to go to SAP and we're going to create that material in SAP. And we get a message back that the material has been created. So let's jump over to SAP and look at this material. MMO3, enter our material number. We go to the basic data view. We'll see that it entered 24 gross weight, or 25 gross weight, 24 net weight, weight unit of kg. If I go to display changes, then we will see it was created by me, S branch, on 9/22/2019 at 14:18:05. So you can see my time down here, it's 2:49. So you can see that the material was created when we submitted our credentials to SAP. Now, if I had errors or something like that, then I would receive, whatever error messages SAP might send back, and maybe I route that back around, or manage that in whatever manner I need to manage that. But that's a pretty quick demo of a new material master request, and I tried to refresh to show you materials pending, but this little report runs on a schedule, so obviously I was ahead of the schedule. But you get the idea of what you can do with a single material request. Now, our active data governance will actually show managing those materials that are outside of our request range. Okay, so I encourage you to watch part 2, which is active data governance, and we'll go through that pretty quickly as well. So let me jump back over to my slide presentation. We'll go to this final slide. So if you want to see a more comprehensive demonstration, then please let me know, or you can go to our website and fill out a contact form. You can contact me directly. Here's my office number, 972-372-0742, or my email is sbranch@cfg-mgt.com. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.